As far as I'm aware, sadly, very little reconstruction has taken place in Sinjar or elsewhere in Nineveh. Sinjar, which is my hometown, remains really a destroyed city. The outlying villages are also not inhabited. There are some people back, but by and large, the majority of the people in Sinjar are still displaced and in Kurdistan region. I believe it's between 350 and 400,000, and they're nearly all in the Kurdistan region in camps and in shelters, and we hope that they will be able to return to their homes. We don't want them to leave the country. We want them to go back to Sinjar. We want Sinjar to be the thriving city and district that it once was. Sadly, tragically, what happened to the Yazidis is not the first genocide in Iraq. Many other communities, and I don't need to list them all, we all know who they are, have suffered genocide in Iraq. What is to stop another genocide? What has changed in Iraq compared to 2014? The problems that we all had in Iraq in 2014 still exist, but now we have additional problems. We have the destruction, we have the mistrust among the communities, we have armed militias that now have seats in the Iraqi parliament. So in addition to what we had in 2014, we have many more complications. We also have laws in Iraq that discriminate against women, discriminate against different ethnic and religious minorities. I will give you an example. A woman whose husband is not Iraqi cannot register her children as Iraqi citizens in Iraq, even though the constitution says citizenship can be passed from mother or father. The reality on the ground is that it is only the father who can pass this on. There are many discriminations against people of different backgrounds, different religious beliefs and different ethnicities. The education system itself is discriminatory. These are the kinds of changes that need to happen across Iraq. So last week, the US State Department hosted the first ministerial on international religious freedom. In his speech at this ministerial, Vice President Pence pointed to the Trump administration setting aside millions of dollars for the people who were persecuted and for the Nineveh plain. And there are other programs such as the genocide, I don't remember the exact title of it, but it's to help the people who were persecuted through the genocide. But these are really State Department and Trump administration programs, and I would recommend getting the details from them. So far, we don't have many details beyond what was announced at the conference. My view is that with all of the atrocities that we have seen across Iraq over decades, just a few days ago we were marking the 35th anniversary of the genocide against the Barzanis. Back in March, our office here in Washington had an event, a conference to mark 30 years since Halabja. Today we are marking 4 years since what happened to the Yazidis. What is the missing ingredient in all of these and other genocides is justice, accountability and compensation. Of course, there was the genocide trial, the Iraq High Tribunal that was established after 2003, and the case of Halabja, Anfal and others were tried. But did we really get justice? You go and ask the people of Halabja, do they feel that justice has been given to them? Have any of them received 1 penny in compensation? Some of them right now are taking out a civil court case against the European companies that provided weapons or, provided chemicals to Saddam Hussein. Why are they doing that? Because they never received justice in the Iraqi court. What is the most important ingredient, in my opinion, is justice. Once people see that if you carry out an act of rape, an act of criminality, an act of genocide, and you are prosecuted, and then you are found guilty, and you are punished, the victims are compensated. This is the first step to stop it happening again. In my opinion, that is the first and foremost act that needs to happen. First, we need the United States to stay in Iraq militarily, to engage in Iraq fully diplomatically, and to keep sending out a clear message to all of us in Iraq and Kurdistan, to all of our neighbors, that the United States is there and will continue to play a critical role in Iraq's future. As we heard from Peri Ibrahim from the Free Yazidi Foundation, when the US declared that it was leaving Iraq, and eventually it did in 2011, it was the minorities that felt the most vulnerable. We also feel vulnerable, and we want the United States to stay there, but also to engage diplomatically and to continue to lead the counter-ISIL coalition, because ISIS is not finished yet.